and Jay! There we go, this one. How's everyone doing? I'm Pat Contri. Alongside me, we have Billy Hudson, Jay Hatfield, the Game Chasers. How's everyone doing? Yeah. So there's only 3 of us here right now. That's kind of weird. Didn't we come with the 4th guy? I don't know.
I don't know.
Is there a 4th guy? Who's the 4th guy?
We have to find out who the 4th member is.
Everyone's always been asking that, but
Yeah.
The following announcement has been paid for by RetrowareTV.
So guys, check it out. People have been asking us for months now. Who's the 4th member? Who's the 4th member of the Wolfpack? Well, check it out. We got somebody for you.
3 of us have been dominating all by ourselves, but with this 4th man, total domination!
Hello, and good evening. I am indeed the 4th member of the Wolfpack. RetrowareTV has dominated, and we see increased domination in the 4th quarter, about threefold. But do not worry, we'll do this with minimal collateral damage.
Now more than ever, with Rue and the Wolfpack, RetrowareTV is just too sweet! The preceding announcement has been paid for by RetrowareTV.
All right, where's Rue? Come on down. Nice hop there, Joey.
You're so sciencey.
So that was actually shot at MagFest earlier this year. And we have a lot of fun at RetrowareTV. That's just a little example. When people try to ask me what RetrowareTV is, it's like, you know, all of us have our own sort of like YouTube channels, websites. So why, you know, be on RetrowareTV? Well, the fact of the matter is there's a lot of projects you can't do on your own. There's a lot of things you can't do on your own. So sort of like, you know, how some, you know, in the 70s you had like super group bands where you had like all these guys join together. Not that we're playing music.
Traveling Wilburys of the online reviewing community or something?
No one got that reference. But 3 people did. But the fact of the matter is stuff like that silly video, we couldn't do on our own. We couldn't do something called the Video Game Years on our own. Has anyone heard of the Video Game Years? We have a few. Do you want to maybe show them
All right, well, you might want to explain first what.
Okay,
what we got?
you're about to see 1980s around the corner for the Video Game Years. Right now we're going to re-show you one that if you haven't seen it, you know, it's new. If you've seen it, it's not. But it's 1979 Part 4, which is Asteroids in Intellivision.
Right.
So let's get going. Maybe we can pump the volume a little louder.
I got it.
For this one? Okay.
Doop-a-doop-boop-boo.
By the end of 1980, Space Invaders was getting blasted out of first place by asteroids. In this game, your ship must destroy floating rocks and shooting spaceships before they destroy you.
Oh, there was one video game that my nephew had that was pretty good. You were like, I don't know the name of it. You were in a spaceship, a little flying saucer, and you had to fly around and avoid asteroids and shoot them.
Was it called Asteroids?
It could have been, you know, I don't know.
I freaking love Asteroids.
Whenever growing up in the arcades, I used to always play Asteroids a lot. I love the vector style graphics. I love the fact that you shoot one large asteroid, they split up into smaller asteroids, those split up into even smaller asteroids, and you get the random flying saucers that shoot at you too. So there's a lot going on in Asteroids.
they're everywhere. There's asteroids everywhere. What should I do? Shoot them! I'll shoot them! Pew pew pew! Pew 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 pew!
And then they go, pew, little ones, and they're going faster, and you're like, oh my God.
How fun is that?
Not very. I actually don't like asteroids very much at all.
I don't like you.
Don't like the button setup.
The 5-button setup was ingenious.
I don't like the thrusting.
You had thrust, you had left, you had right, you had fire, and you had hyperspace, which was a giant crapshoot because you didn't know where in the hell were you gonna go.
Hyperspace would randomly send you to another part of the screen. However, if you use it too much, you'd end up blowing yourself up because you'd hyperspace into an asteroid. So no one really used that as far as I know, because like again, you had the little finger set up, but then you had that metacarpal thing going on trying to get to that hyperspace button. So I never really used it.
They're discouraging you from using it.
Yeah, you like hit it with your elbow while you're playing. That's how it was. I'm doing the asteroid dance right now.
Hyperspace was a good way to get out of a jam, but if you used it too much, it could become deadly. We're talking warp 9 dangerous here. She can't take much more of this, Captain. I have no idea what I'm doing here.
I guess it technically had like a physics thing going on because it was all based on momentum.
Yeah.
But my problem was I'd just tap on the thruster and I'd go shooting off and smack into a freaking asteroid.
It doesn't just stop on a dime. If you stop hitting the thrust button, you keep going. I mean, okay, the physics is kind of weird because you go from one end of the screen and you come out on the other, so that's like cartoon physics, but...
Well, the funny thing, well, not funny thing, but the thing is with Asteroids is for some reason it was Atari's best-selling game.
True. They even like swapped out some lunar lander cabinets for it, right?
In fact, they had to stop production of the Lunar Lander, another vector graphics game. They had to stop production of those cabinets to use them for the Asteroids cabinets, and it did pretty well for itself. The VCS port, Atari VCS port of Asteroids in 1980 was a huge seller for the system. It was one of those turning point moments for the VCS when they got Asteroids on there.
And there was a good example we mentioned before, how you could only do vector graphics in the arcade because the VCS version of Asteroids was, big colored blobs. And, didn't quite look as good as the arcade version. Though I do remember the arcade version of Asteroids, I believe, also had to use an overlay for color as well. Yep.
The Asteroid soundtrack is just like Space Invaders. It's that heartbeat rhythm that just gets faster and faster as the game progresses. I remember when I was a kid, there was a cocktail version of Asteroids at a children's hospital I had to go to, and of course I was nervous about my procedure, so to take my mind off it, my parents said, hey, why don't you go play Asteroids? Somehow it didn't set my mind at ease.
Insert coins. Intellivision. Intelligent television by Mattel. More sophisticated than any video game that has come before. Providing hours of entertainment for the entire family. Intellivision, with one of the clearest game displays available today.
All right, 1979. In this year, Mattel was the largest toy company. Actually, today, they're still the largest toy company out there. But in 1979, action figures and Hot Wheels and Barbies, well, that wasn't enough for Mattel, no.
The handheld game market was not enough. They wanted to make a console. They test marketed the Intellivision.
That's an Intellivision too.
Close enough.
Intelligent television.
They test marketed it in Central California through Gottschalk's department stores. I forget how many Gottschalks there were in the Central Valley, but probably like 6 of them.
We got better graphics, we got better sound, we got better games.
They were more expensive. I mean, it was $300 for an Intellivision compared to $150 for an Atari 2600. And it went on the shelves with just 6 games.
It is easily my favorite looking video game system of all time. I mean, it's gold and brown and wood. It literally looks like the dashboard off a 1976 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme.
The Intellivision had a lot going for it, and there were a lot of things that actually made it a little more superior than the Atari VCS. The graphics were a little bit better, the colors that were used were better, the sound was better.
The Intellivision was technically the first 16-bit console, but the Super Nintendo, it was not. Obviously.
Atari came out first. Great company. I mean, they were the ones who really kind of revolutionized the stuff.
Everybody owned an Atari. All the major games were coming out on Atari. And basically what happened with the Atari 2600 is it was just easier to program games that were faster, more responsive, felt more arcadey. But you could not deny that the Intellivision, with a couple of years of extra development time on the 2600, had much, much, much better graphics.
And they also had the license of most sports outlets like Major League Baseball, NHL, NBA, NFL.
Somebody in the marketing department had this brilliant idea of, well, we don't have the arcade machines and we don't have the budget to go after some of those.
Atari focused their efforts on trying to get licenses from the arcade, and television went for the sports titles.
At the time, we had the exclusive, so only we had NFL football, and only we had Major League Baseball.
The Intellivision as a system actually did a lot of things first. This might seem small, but it was the first system to have a full font embedded within the system. Uppercase and lowercase letters, which is really important for readability in any sort of game that's going to have text on the screen.
And when you add the keyboard component available this summer, Intellivision can change your family's life. It simplifies financial planning, even custom designs a Jack LaLanne exercise program for you.
Slave driver. You had the IntelliVoice. I even had the keyboard. They had the keyboard for the Intellivision.
One of the things I really like about the Intellivision are the controllers. You have the 16-way directional disc here. You could also put a joystick on there as well and use it that way.
The Intellivision controller, I still think is genius. I mean, people think I'm nuts, but I mean, you had all the numbers with the overlays, but the side buttons in the disc, I mean, this was unbelievable.
I think it was like 12 buttons, 12 plus 4 buttons on the side, I think. So it's like 16 buttons on the freaking thing.
Kept that golden brown feel. It had the phone number pad.
Looked like a freaking telephone. You know, what am I going to call my grandmother, or am I going to play video games here, right?
And one of the other things that Intellivision did differently is they had these controls that utilized these little overlays. Basically, they were overlays just like this. Small little pieces of plastic that you just put on top of your controller that had different functions or showed you different keypad motions for the video game that you're playing.
Back in the day, if you lost those overlays, you couldn't play the game unless you remembered what all the buttons, did. Nowadays, you can obviously go on the internet and look them up. But back then, you lost them. What were you going to do? Buy the game again and ask a friend?
If you actually open up an Intellivision controller to try to service it, as I had to do recently, this is what your Intellivision controller is printed on. There's no circuit board. This is barely stronger than snack cake packaging, and they just put the circuits directly on it. Not only that, but certain parts, like sensitive areas, like where the control disc goes, there is no buffer between the disc, so it actually grinds rings into the circuit itself.
I personally hate this controller. Luckily, you can, well, not luckily about anything, you have to use this controller.
The Intellivision had a huge library of games. I mean, the system spanned almost 10 years. Of course it had a huge library of games.
The Intellivision came with Las Vegas Poker and Blackjack as a pack-in game. Sure, it was no Super Mario Brothers, but it was a game.
The Tron games that they did, Deadly Discs was just one of them, but this wasn't on any other system at the time, and it was unique. The movie was popular, and it's considered to be a decent game. Games like Burger Time had their only sequel in Diner, like a true sequel, and it was only on Intellivision, and that's pretty cool.
Kind of a hard game to come by, but it's a really fun port, and it's very unique. So if you like Burger Time, check out Diner for the Intellivision.
Me and my friends love Night Stalker, but the bats are so scary.
Well, your friends aren't going to have this newest one. It's Frog Bong.
Oh, man, they're not going to believe this.
Oh man, Microsurgeon. Really the first health medical video game. And you go inside someone's body, try to figure out what's wrong.
You gonna open that?
No, it's sealed. Ruin the value.
One of my favorite games for the Intellivision is He-Man, The Power of He-Man. And this is a really fun port. There's several different stages. You got this hovercraft stage. You also have the stage where Skeletor's shooting fireballs at He-Man and he's trying to avoid them. I love the sound effects, the sound of the swords hitting each other, like the music from the actual cartoon. It's a really great port.
And then we have, like, these games everyone knows about, the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons games. This one is the Tarman one, which is kind of cool because it's one of the first-person dungeon crawls that you see, and certainly the first one that was ever done on a home console. So it's kind of the start of RPGs taking off.
Star Strike was an amazing kind of a Star Wars ripoff. You had to actually fly into the trench, but it was green, and drop the little torpedo into the target.
But one cool thing to note is that the Atari actually ported some of their games over to the Intellivision, their competitor. And Mattel actually did the exact same thing to the Atari, porting some of their games over under what they called the M Network.
They said, and we're going to do games for Atari too, and for in the television.
Much like Atari, Mattel actually licensed the Intellivision out to third-party companies. For example, you had Radio Shack, the Tandyvision, which was Radio Shack's version of the Intellivision. You also had the Super Video Arcade, which was available at Sears, which is also another version of the Intellivision.
I have like about 5 or 6 different Intellivision machines.
Before Intellivision was there, the dads were, and the moms and dads were, saying, should we get our kid a video game system? Should we get him And after Intellivision came out, the question became, which one should we get?
2 million units sold in 1979. That's pretty good.
Pretty good?
Pretty dang good.
In television. In television.
Coming up next on the Video Game Years.
All right, we got the joke there. All right, so that was 79. So 80's around the corner. Yeah, you can clap. That's not a bad show.
So, something you might notice is that we have, we're kind of expanding beyond the, initially when we started the series, we had mostly RetroWare people kind of waxing nostalgic about all these older systems, and we're kind of branching out. We have John Gamester, who's contributed quite a bit to the Intellivision segment there. Chris Kohler from Wired, Keith Robinson, who actually developed for the Intellivision and now owns the company. He liked it so much he bought the company. But we also have people coming up in future episodes, such as Howard Phillips, who is the game master, ran almost everything at Nintendo of America back in the 80s, from the Howard and Nestor comic strips as well. And Bob Mackey from Retronauts, and of course Tommy Tallarico. So.
And we could have a couple other guys dropping in to say hi.
Hey,
so yeah, 80's gonna be big year. 80, you got, what do you have? You have the big ones. You have Pac-Man. You have.
Never heard of that one.
No. Missile Command. What's the other one? Centipede.
That's it.
Game & Watch. So 80's gonna be a pretty big year.
Yeah, and that should be coming out pretty shortly. I would expect in the next week or so at RetrowareTV.
Let's not overpromise though.
I think it's right. It's there right now if you check. No, just kidding.
No, it's not. It's not yet. So we have Billy and Jay here. So if you guys aren't familiar with them, they're not really saying anything right now. But
hello.
You guys can talk too.
You can talk.
No, y'all are
Shy
doing
and
enough. Go
bashful.
ahead.
So we actually have a preview of the next Game Chasers episode.
That show sucks.
You guys want to see a preview of the next episode? Oh, okay.
All right then.
Also, I believe after this we're going to have a bit of a Q&A session.
Yeah.
So start thinking up amazing questions to stump us right now.
Well, it's not a trivia.
I know.
It could be trivia, though.
And they could ask whatever they want.
So we're here at Galaxy Games. I'm hoping for some out-of-this-world deals. They're already in there scoping out the joint, I'm sure.
All right, so here's the deal. Me and Billy have decided that nobody tries to run up ahead. We'll walk in, we'll ask to film.
Yeah, don't go in and start game chasing before we've established yet from the establishment if we're able to shoot or not.
And I'm talking to the clerk, and Eric's over here just like looking at games, and we're like, dude, Eric, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm looking at games. Like, dude, you can't look at games yet. Just wait a second. Let's get permission to film whatnot.
I tried to one-up the guys a little bit. I was already peeking, and they did call me out on it. So I was like, you know what? I won't look. But sure enough, the second that it was open game to go for the games.
Were you asking for this Mario's missing?
You son of a gun.
Mario's missing? What'd you say?
That's what I was looking
Second
at.
shelf, right there. What do you ask?
Second that we went to go ahead and start shooting, Jay called for one of the games I was looking for, which is Mario's Missing on the NES.
Got you slipping, bitch.
I guess we were locked in at the same game at the exact same time. I spoke up first.
What are you asking for that?
Well, normally the NES games we sell them for $4 each. Harder to find ones go to 6, 8, 10.
Okay.
And I was like, that son of a... And sure enough, the guy goes, yeah, they're only $4. So you can't beat $4 NES games that are actually kind of uncommon.
Can I see Boy and His Blob? I think it's right above. Oh, that one got Sharpie up too.
What about that one that's above Birthday Blowout?
This there?
Yeah.
So I see another uncommon game on the Super Nintendo shelf. Joy Mac 2, Lost in the Tropics. This is a game that I've been on the lookout for.
Joy Mac 2 up there.
Hey, don't be looking at the Super Nintendo games yet.
I could believe that one.
Even though $18 is more than I usually spend on a single game, I'm gonna go ahead and bite the bullet on this one because this is a game, like I said, that I've been looking for a while, and it's reasonably priced. So yeah, we're not always cheapskates. See, there you go.
Or can we go back there?
Well, we can just stand on top of each other.
Doesn't hurt to ask.
May I see what that black one above Vegas Dream is?
You're so polite.
Yeah, I'm like y'all.
Can I see the black one next to it above Excite Bike, please?
Excite Bike. That one there?
Yes.
F15.
Okay, I'm good on that.
Eric spots a really uncommon game on the NES, Battletoads Double Dragon.
So I said, hey, can I check out the Battletoads Double Dragon right there?
It's a pretty damn good find, right? I don't know if he's just stupid, his brain is small, or I don't know what's going on with him. But Billy like Jedi mind tricked him into saying he didn't want it. He was like, this isn't the game you're looking for. And Eric's like, it's not the game I'm looking for.
We looked at it and the label was kind of messed up and I didn't think anything of it. But then Billy kind of like turned and looked at me and he goes, I don't know, dude. That doesn't look like it's in that great a condition.
The dude goes, yeah, you're right. Here, hands it back to the guy.
Eric's like, I don't want it.
I'll take that.
I'm about to catch him slipping.
About to catch you slipping, dude. This happened once with the top loader, remember that.
I'll take it.
Dang.
I don't need it.
Dang.
I can get that sticker off.
Eric, what are you doing? Oh, Billy said that the label was damaged and this and that and blah, blah. No, Eric, you're an idiot. You got taken, son.
And he just gave me that look that I got caught slipping and I couldn't believe it.
It's all right, Billy. It's just Battletoads and Double Dragon. It's a hard game anyway. I can't beat the first stage.
That is getting undercut right there. The top loader, you didn't get undercut on the top loader. You got undercut on the Battletoads Double Dragon, dude. Sorry about you.
I don't think that Eric looked really closely enough at the label. The label looks like it's torn, but it's not. It actually has residue of a Blockbuster sticker over it. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, and this is a really uncommon game, and I'm more than happy to pay $8 for it in the condition that it's in, because I think that I can get it looking pretty dadgum good, honestly.
The reason why y'all got those is because I pointed them out. That's cool.
God, what? What'd you point out? You didn't point anything out, dude.
It's not like we wouldn't have seen it.
I said Mario was missing when we were in here.
Did you?
The first place that we actually go looking at games as a group, and I already got screwed over twice within 5 minutes.
Can I see this Legend of Zelda on 64?
Yeah, Jay found a factory-sealed Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time that, for whatever reason, was still on the shelf.
This one's 25?
25. Factory seal, that's when he used to order all the games brand new when we were still in Chicago. That's one of them.
Now, the thing is not exactly mint. It's got quite a few flaws in it. The plastic is torn.
You got it. Oh, good job, but it's got a tear. Okay, there's a slight little tear in it, okay? It's still factory sealed. Big fucking deal.
Despite that, I'd still give it probably around a 60 on the BGG. Billy's game grading. With that said, you could probably only sell it on eBay for around 100 grand. All joking aside, it's a really nice find. $25 for a factory sealed Legend of Zelda, despite flaws, is a good deal. Very impressed with Galaxy. If I lived in anywhere near the Roswell area, I would be here every weekend.
Yeah, would you do 25 on both of these if I got them both?
Yeah, I'll do that for you. Okay. I ended up getting Battletoads Double Dragon on the NES and Joe and Mac 2, Lost in the Tropics on the Super Nintendo. Two really uncommon games, and he hooked me up with a really cool combination price on both of them of $25, a couple dollars marked off, and you can't beat a deal like that.
Let me see if I have cash. Hang on. I do.
I have cash. I can take Mars missing.
I have cash.
Oh yeah.
51.
What about him? You should be mad at him.
Even?
You should be mad at him. He took that freaking 32-1 from me.
No, actually, he walked off. It's mine now.
This store, Galaxy, is pretty amazing. I got the Marios missing for $4. Good deal. I picked me up a factory sealed Ocarina of Time Nintendo 64. Picked it up for $25. Pretty damn good deal in a retail setting, I must say. These are the kind of retail stores we like.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. No problem. Next time I see a Battletoads Double Dragon, I'm taking it even if it has a marker on it.
I'm still a little disappointed because I didn't get my Battletoads and Double Dragon, especially because that game runs a little bit pricey, and bad label or not, I should have thought about it, and as Billy said, I fell for the oldest trick in the book. And every other YouTuber that was in Vegas later on that heard the story said I was stupid too, so.
You know, forget all the alien stuff, whatever. Just to go to this store would have been reason enough to stop in Roswell.
All right. Short little preview. Very good finds, guys. I'm impressed by that sealed Ocarina of Time. Very nice.
Told you that show sucked. Yo, actually, 8-Bit Eric is here with us on this trip. Stand up and say hello. That's the sucker. No, we love our Eric.
So now, I guess we can do a little Q&A. If you guys have any questions about any of the shows or RetrowareTV, there's a microphone in the back, so maybe you can just line up, or I don't know how we want to do this.
Please queue up behind the man in the top hat.
Please queue up behind the man in the top hat. That'd probably be the easiest.
Yes.
And then
I have a question. Will you sell me that Joe and Mac 2 for $5?
I'll trade you those Nintendo Powers.
Why don't you tell the story of the Nintendo Powers? Give people.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this guy right here catches me slipping. I admit it. He got some
yesterday
first issue Nintendo Powers. So I'm talking not issue 1, but the second one,
It's
and
like-
I think below 20.
It's like 2 through 30.
Yeah. And the ones that you usually, the early ones that always have the staples, and you always find them in really bad condition, obviously. These things look like they've never been touched, like ever, by human hands.
Mhm.
And, well, how much did you get it for?
Well, there were a few that were as pricey as like $2 each. but
Oh, yeah, you know.
Most of them
Yeah.
were $1. So.
No, but the guy had them in a box and was basically, oh, I don't know, $1 each.
And I was trying to be nice to the seller and saying, hey,
No.
Joey's getting these for too low. You can charge at least triple what you're charging. But he didn't want to take my nice advice. I don't know why.
I believe your nice advice was, Roo, you're scamming this guy. Thanks a lot.
Hey, why don't you just like go download them online or something?
What really drives me crazy about it is the fact that, yeah, I can go and spend a few more dollars on, a volume 2 or whatever, but it's never, ever going to be in that good a condition.
They were not even read, but all right.
That's too bad.
We're enough of our shenanigans. So, any questions? Let's go. If you have any question about RetrowareTV or Joey's show, or okay, you guys share a mic over there. Yeah, it's gonna take one.
Q, come forward.
Yeah.
I don't think we have
Or
any
give him the stand. Joe,
games
give
to
him the
give
stand.
away like the Alt Gen guys.
Put the
So-
put the stand up there. Instead, it'd be better. There we go.
Hey, dude, you
Yeah,
almost
don't take out the audience, Joey. Oh, jeez.
Nice and tall.
There you go.
Now I know how you got hurt exercising.
My old football injury, Atari football.
Oh, is that it?
Told you trackballs suck.
All right.
After watching that episode and prior episodes, is it really that easy to find games that cheap in Texas?
It's a lot easier than other parts of the country, I can tell you that much. But what a lot of people don't know is what you see on the screen is only about 10% of what we actually do. And, of every find we get, there's so many more misses. But we're not going to air all the misses, obviously.
Game collecting is about a lot of perseverance. Like you said, you can go out 10 times and not find anything, but it's that 11th time you can strike oil.
Or should I rephrase that? Is it easy to find people who are too stupid to go on eBay?
I wouldn't say that people are stupid if they don't look on eBay. A lot of times, people want to move stuff, and if you want to get full eBay prices, a lot of times you have to go through the hassle of listing the item, waiting for it to close, answering questions about, well, is there any marks on the label? Is the seal on the game a little off? And then you got to ship them out, and then you can have some people try to, get it for free by saying there's issues, and a lot of people don't like. That's why there's brick and mortar used game stores, because they don't want to go through eBay. It's a hassle for them.
That's why there's Goodwill.
Yeah.
I will attest that for whatever reason, it seems like it's harder to find good deals on retro games on the East Coast for some reason.
It does seem that way.
very
We
odd.
have only tried it once, but we didn't have any luck.
Yeah, okay, so I'm in North Carolina. I have a really hard time finding anything like a good deal. And I was talking to Dane, who founded Nintendo Age, who lives in my area as well, and he said the same thing. He's like, it's very difficult for him. He has a few secret spots that he lets slip. Yeah, haha. But
Didn't you say that Texas is where retro games go to die?
Apparently, because you guys trip over like Battletoads Double Dragon walking down the street.
Yeah, walking down the street is Earthbound. I'm like, whoa,
Whoa! Flintstones, Little Samson too. Don't forget those. I'm just saying.
But yeah.
Thanks for the question.
Besides Rue, who else speaks Japanese?
Who reads Japanese?
Do you actually speak Japanese? Or write?
Read, speak, or write Japanese.
I say Ohio, which means
Pete Dorr
hello.
does.
Konnichiwa.
Actually, Justin Carmichael, who does the You Can Play This series in Retro TV, he's fluent in some Japanese. Actually, his series is about Japanese import games.
Okay, that's a great game, or a great series. Also, Eric, who does Let's Get, who was in Video Game Years, he knows quite a bit about Japanese. He's a fan of the Japanese. What?
The
what? I don't know either. Anyone else? Derek Alexander, the Happy Video Game Nerd. He also. I think he's also a fan of Japanese culture.
Doesn't
so
he
knows a little bit.
do on some of your videos?
He did on my Rise of the RPG video. He provided one of the voices. I think maybe he did Yuji Horii or something like
Sounds
that.
good, too.
That's what it was. Yeah, the creator of Dragon Quest. So yeah, he did a good job. He was very distinctly Derek, though. You could tell it was Derek talking there.
Thanks for the question. Yes, sir.
Okay, I got two questions. First of all, do you remember me from last year?
I do. You're a little shorter. You grew up about 6 inches from last year, though. I do remember. I do remember your question, roughly.
What did you steal from him?
What?
I asked you about if you could sign my Sega Genesis, and you
That's
never
right.
did.
Did I ever sign? I don't think I ever signed it.
No.
Do you have it here?
Because it's like the devil would sign my Bible. But, and then what is the scariest moment you ever had in a game?
The scariest moment in a game?
Like Clock Tower, Doom.
Or being actually scared?
Yeah, jump scare, I don't know, whatever.
I always go back to Doom on the PC. If you were playing that like in 93 when it came out, and late at night, Saturday night, no friends to go out, and I don't know, what do you do when you're 12? I had no friends anyway. Anyway, so
He still doesn't.
You had a lot of like jump scares in Doom, and a lot of the atmosphere was very dark. And those the first games sort of like that, where you just walk into a room and all of a sudden, the door behind you shuts, and now you have giant pigs coming to eat you, coming in all directions. So I think it's still a scary game. Think about that.
Somewhat recently, Clock Tower for the Super Nintendo was surprisingly scary, actually, genuinely. As a kid, though, I was probably more scared. Super Castlevania 4, there were parts in that were mainly because I would play it like at 1 in the morning or something like that. But it's just a very atmospheric game. But I do distinctly remember when I first played Dragon Warrior as a kid. This is weird. Stick with me. I remember distinctly in the instruction booklet, it would say, it would have a big warning. It said, "Warning, do not cross the bridges until you're ready for them because the monsters are stronger across them." And I would be petrified to cross the bridges, like, "Oh God, the slimes are going to get me." So I would like sit around and grind for hours and hours and hours so I could finally cross the bridge. And I was like, "Oh, well, now it's not so hard." That's the way. Well, because I was like level 10 before I crossed the first bridge because the stupid instruction manual. Okay, had me scared of my waist.
All right, I'm taking the mic away.
The most terrified I've ever been in a game is when I was playing Eternal Darkness. And I thought that the game, erased my save data.
Oh,
Because I don't know if you know
yes,
anything about the
yes.
game. When your insanity meter starts going down, the game actually starts to mess with you. It makes it look like the TV volume's going down, and all this freaky stuff starts happening. One of them, it looks like
The white
you're
snow and all
basically
that.
your GameCube is just crashed and everything's gone. And yeah, I literally started sweating when that happened.
I'm actually going to agree with Billy. When I was playing it, the screen went white and it was fuzzy, and I was like, what the heck is going on here? And I almost turned off the GameCube, and then it came back on. I was like, this sly motherfucker. Sorry. But, yeah. I know, it's children in here.
We've been doing that for a year and a half.
The more important thing is, are you going to sign his Genesis already?
I would, yeah. If you have it, I would sign it.
No, you're not.
Oh, too bad.
Security? If you have security come and escort him.
I could just see the malice in his face when he answered that too.
That was a setup, by the way, I think.
Good question.
I regret giving you that Tick game for Super Nintendo in box.
Did I mention it was $5?
Hey, Pat, big fan.
Oh, thanks.
Question for everybody. Out of all the games you've played, which one has your favorite soundtrack or specific track? Take your pick.
I'm going to go, if y'all don't mind, I'll go first. I play a lot of new stuff. God of War, like 1, 2, and 3, the soundtracks on those are amazing. Rayman Origins also, I really like the soundtrack on those.
I'm going to go with some Sunsoft games. I love the freaking main theme song, stage 1 from Gremlins 2. I absolutely love it. The Batman theme, I love that. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't know because I don't have the game, Pat.
Yeah, Pat.
Why don't you come off it, man? And of course, it's a cliche answer, but I mean, how could you not be nostalgic over the Super Mario, theme? So I'm gonna go with those.
That music sucks.
Oh, simmer down. You mentioned it, Mr. Gimmick, which did not come out in the U.S. The prototype was finished. I did a review of what you saw. The music in Mr. Gimmick is absolutely incredible. If most people haven't heard it, if they heard it, they'd be like, wow, this ranks up there with all the other NES soundtracks, if not the top one. And there's actually a hidden track that you can't access in the game unless you rip the music from. That's like the best track even on that game, and it wasn't even used in the game. And the other one, Super Nintendo ActRaiser, I think has a really outstanding soundtrack. Why did you hit me for?
Fillmore 1, because I should have said that.
First, I get insulted by the Genesis fan. Now you hit
said
me.
that, man, because I just downloaded. Never mind.
What was that?
Never mind.
You just bought and listened to.
No. I bought the soundtrack.
Oh, really?
Yes. The Fillmore 1 is one of the best rockin' tunes ever.
Even better than Welcome to the Jungle?
I'll just buy it just a little bit.
Yeah, but it is actually ActRaiser. They did release, I think in Japan it was. They did release an orchestrated soundtrack of it, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I apologize. It's one of my favorite video game composers. I can't think of who did the music to ActRaiser, but he's done a lot of really good work. Probably my absolute favorite is Final Fantasy VI. I think that's Nobuo Uematsu's best work. You can clap. Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's just top to bottom amazing. Every single character has a great theme. But also, I think it's Yosunori Mitsuda who did the Chrono Cross music. I don't like Chrono Cross very much, but the soundtrack is amazing. I would almost say better than Chrono Trigger, but that might be.
If I might. Just one other one I want to throw out there. UN Squadron. Awesome.
Thanks for the question. Yes, sir. And the great Zelda shirt.
What is your favorite Zelda game?
Favorite Zelda game?
Well, I'll start because this is my favorite game of all time, and that's Link to the Past. I like it just a little bit better than Ocarina of Time, and I think that's probably just because of nostalgia. But it is an amazing game.
I just bought that game today.
Have you ever played it before?
No, I bought it on the original Super NES.
Well, man, enjoy it. Enjoy it, man.
In for a treat.
You're going to love it.
I will say the original Zelda, Legend of Zelda, NES, obviously, tied with Ocarina of Time.
I'd say Link Faces of Evil. No. No, Link to the Past is my favorite too. I think it's just a very tight game. It's great. It fits together really well. The music's great.
Yeah, it's like whenever you first went into Dark World and realized that there was a whole other game.
Yes, I love when that happens. It's great.
Y'all are dorks.
I have to pick the original Legend of Zelda. I have to, just because if you were
started it all.
If you were alive back then, that game just opened up this whole new universe of what games could do that didn't come before that. And I don't think people they appreciate what it did, but it's kind of taken for granted when you look at all the games, what it established.
It still holds together very well. For like a 25-year-old game, it still holds up really well to play. I know what you're going to say.
I hate that expression that something holds up well or not. But anyway, actually, you know what? It ages well. You know what? I actually do like Zelda 2, and I don't know what this recent sort of trend is to trash Zelda 2 and also trash Super Mario Brothers 2. I don't like it. I think Zelda 2 was a great game. It is a great game. It tries something new. You can clap. You can support Zelda 2. Yeah, I'm going on record. Zelda 2, baby. I waited 5 months for that game to be delivered from Sears. I was looking at the UPS truck every day, and I was crying by March. I was supposed to get it for Christmas back in '89. It didn't come, but I was crying January, February. Why wasn't it coming? I wanted to play Zelda 2. I don't know what happened. What?
I was going to say, was this last year?
No, but Zelda 2. If Zelda 2 was any other game on the NES, like I said, back then people loved it, but over time people were like, oh, it's not a real Zelda game, even though it is. So
What, people are starting to trash Super Mario 2?
Oh yeah,
This
is ridiculous too. This is okay.
Hey, what was y'all's favorite character to use on Super Mario 2?
I like Luigi in Super Mario 2, or if you want to just go for power, you got to pick Toad. Toad's still go.
Toad is more speed, but I went with Princess. I like
Princess.
Did anyone use Mario in Super Mario Brothers?
Mario sucks.
We got a couple. 2 people. There we go. We found them.
But yeah, it's another sort of trend. Oh, it's not the real one. I found out on the internet that it was Doki Doki Panic, so I hate it now.
So what? If it's a good game, it's a good game.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's not, when we were in Vegas at the Classic Gaming Expo, we were talking with Howard Phillips, who were recording his footage for the video game years, and he said that the Japanese version of Super Mario Brothers 2, they got it in. And they said, this sucks. This is terrible. This poison mushroom, it's not fun. It just frustrates people. You have the wind blowing people off course. And Shigeru Miyamoto did develop Doki Doki Panic as a separate game, but just kind of make it Mario and send it to the U.S. Still a great game.
The problem that Howard Phillips had with the game was that, and he was totally right, and it hit me, is that in Super Mario Brothers, he said you were rewarded for going fast, playing how you wanted to, getting the coins, hitting all the blocks, not worrying about what's in the blocks. In Super Mario Brothers 2 in Japan, they totally squashed that by having the poison mushrooms, not knowing if you're going to be, you're going to die or you're going to grow bigger, and having the random wind that ruins any enjoyment of flow of the game. And when he said that, I was like, wow, that makes total sense. It totally just counteracts everything you learned and enjoyed from the first Super Mario Brothers. So I love the American Super Mario Bros. 2. That's it.
Thank you. Enjoy Link to the Past.
Yes.
All right, I got 2 questions, and I'm going to answer them separately. One, what was your most frustrating moment in any game? And I mean the kind of frustration where you're about to break your controller.
I probably Mike Tyson. And Mike
I was
Tyson
just about to say that.
Because it was hard enough, just beating Sandman, Super Macho Man, and just getting to Mike Tyson. And then you're like, okay, this should be all right. And then you just get destroyed. And then it's this thing that, at least for me, it haunted me. I didn't beat Mike Tyson probably until 15 years after the game was released. Or no, 10 years. It was a while, though, until I finally beat it.
I'd say playing you in Super Smash Brothers. Because the stage always helps you win.
I got a couple answers here. The first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is hard. I mean, I like the game. A lot of people don't like it. I still enjoy it. But it was very difficult. And playing this fool right here in N64 wrestling games.
Because I'm badass.
He could play with, he could play
No,
with
the
his
computer
feet
cheated for me a lot on that game.
Yeah, it did. I literally threw down the controller and a few times and said, F this, I'm out. It got that heated sometimes.
Yeah, but you got to. Never mind. I won't go into it. But he said he walked out. He stormed out crying like a little baby, and he'd be
I
like,
had to do laundry.
Yeah, that was his excuse. He would literally throw down the
Rage quit.
controller. I'm like, dude, you're gonna break my controller. I'll go do laundry. I'm out of here. No, for me, it'd be Mike Tyson also. I think I beat him for the first and only time when I was 21-ish, and no one was there to witness it, so I left it on the end screen until people got home, and I was like, yo, check it out. I finally beat this guy.
I beat it at like a party. I remember in front of like lots of people.
Did
I was
you?
like, yeah, it was like the pressure was on. That was like, yeah, I was like, I was really boxing. It was fun.
Another good one is Ninja Gaiden. Whenever
Yes.
you're going to the end, and
Gaiden.
then you just
Oh,
cannot
God.
get past those stupid birds, and just get hit, go into the pit.
Flashbacks.
All right, my second question is, what is the rarest game in any of your collection? Like the only one game that you praise never to get rid of, ever. Even if you have a garage sale, that is the one thing that you hold dear to you.
Well, go.
Little Samson. Oh, no, probably, yeah, Little Samson. Yeah.
I obviously Flintstones. Well, I guess not obviously, but yeah, I also have that, and I also have a Flintstones of Dino and Hoppy prototype. So I guess it's kind of those two.
Which
one do I choose?
My sealed copy of Dance Aerobics, I value highly.
I thought it'd be here Nintendo World Championship.
Oh, the joke's on you, isn't it?
I don't know what he's talking about. What? I don't know what he's talking about.
He
destroyed
I saw the
them.
episode. I know when.
He's pointing a finger at me now. Security again, please. I always like, in the collecting world, it's like, what do you value? Like, do you value rarity more? Do you value monetary? What do you value, like, what the game is? And the gray NWC card to me means a lot more because it was actually used in the competition. It was in these NESs in front of these little 8-year-olds playing this game. It toured around the country, the card. To me, that means a lot more than something that was just given away from Nintendo Power. That's just my opinion.
Makes sense, actually.
My rarest game is the Earthbound prototype for the NES. Thank you. I can buy things, but but I would sell that for the right price. There are certain things that I probably would never
reseller.
$10.
So no, I can't really see myself selling my Final Fantasy III or Earthbound because those are the same ones I had as a kid. And, for the going rate of those things, like, yeah, you can make a little bit of money, but that's not worth it to me. I would rather just keep it in the pristine condition it is. I was a bit of a dork when I was a kid. I kept things really nice.
When he was a kid.
Right?
I'm still in that phase.
That was the joke. Thanks for explaining. All right. Thanks for your question.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll give Ruback his mic here.
Oh, great. Good. I don't want saliva all over the mic.
That's despicable.
Well, I just want to say thanks, guys, for coming out to Portland and visiting with us here.
Oh, great.
And,
Thanks for
So I guess my question is, I'll start with a little factoid and then kind of segue into my question.
Factoid.
Between the 1920s and the 1950s.
Is this a math question?
No, not really.
42.
Between the 1920s and the 1950s, they say it's estimated about 40% of film is just lost to us.
Yes, I've heard that statistic too.
And so I wonder, as collectors, you have a passion for preserving the art and these things. And I'm not a computer engineer, so I don't know hundreds of years from now, these NES cartridges, obviously, they'll either be around or they won't.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess my question is, are you concerned for the future that the video game media will suffer that same fate where there will be lost art, games that just won't be able to be recovered? Or are you more optimistic that with the asset of digital copies, while some are illegal, they do exist?
It's like a two sort of pronged question. I think for the current stuff, you'll always have people that'll keep their Nintendo games, in sealed, in a vault somewhere, or there'll always be pressure, cool like 35-degree rooms where they keep their stuff. You're always going to find a copy of any game, unless there's like a nuclear holocaust, and then I'll be digging through the rubble looking for what's there. Anyway.
Chubby cherub box.
Yeah, the chubby cherub box. Anyway, in terms of the future, I'm not sure. Digital. I think we're getting to the point now where within 10, 15 years, not just with games, but with movies, you'll not be able to go to the store and buy a disc. I think that's where it's headed. And that's kind of scary because I like things like manuals. It's disturbing to me that there's no more manuals in new games. Manuals to me are fun. There's artwork in there. It's more character about the game. They put little extra things in there, and it just loses a little bit of the game's soul if there's no manual. But I think we're getting to the point now, say in 2060, 2070, you won't be able to buy a game in a box anymore, a game in a case.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent question. And I saw there was a great panel at PAX East I saw this year that discussed that exact same thing with basically like video game historians from American Classic Arcade Museum and Digital Press and things like that. And I also conducted a panel at the Escapist Expo this year that basically dealt with that topic. You know, video game preservation as part of our cultural heritage. And that's a phrase that I heard from Billy like a year ago that I love and steal all the time. But you said something
Oh yeah,
intelligent.
the public service announcements. Yeah.
But there is a problem with a lot of source code is lost. Like 90% of video game companies in the 80s did not, they didn't think about preservation. It's like the BBC deleting old Doctor Who tapes because they didn't think anyone was going to care 30 years down the line. And it's a shame that that's lost because you can have the games currently, but you can't go back to how it was developed and bring it back. And if you're going out further, there is such a thing as bit rot in video games. It's basically
Sounds painful.
Yeah. Never mind. I was going to go somewhere bad. But because in these microchips, it's memory that eventually it's really strange. You have like cosmic rays that actually come out and flip bits and eventually screws up your data, so it's not retrievable. That's actually a thing. Now, having said that, a lot of games like Nintendo and Atari and so forth will probably last at least a few more decades. Surprisingly enough, like CDs and DVDs
will not last as long as cartridges.
Yeah, they will not last very long at all. Optical media is not it's somewhat volatile. So I would expect to see a lot of PlayStation era games not working in the near future when you put them in. And there's not a lot to be done about that except for digital copying.
Which in some cases it's illegal. I mean, some of these, like if Nintendo, they won't release certain games, digital copies, and there's no other way to preserve, that said game.
And so it's up
and
to
if their library burns down or something tragic, because I know Universal had a big library of films that just burned down, never to be recovered. And if that happens to Nintendo, or if there's a, God forbid, a tsunami, hurricane, anything like that, then they're gone.
And so it's up to the fans basically to keep these.
That's what I was. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm not going to get all sciencey and stuff, but just seeing the amount of younger kids coming out here and being so into retro games, it's like that's what we got to do is keep it in the conscious of people, and so it doesn't die off when we get old. Newer generations get introduced to it and get a passion for it, and they want to preserve it.
And you have things now like the Video Game History Museum, which is being started up by the guys from Digital Press. There is a lot of interest now in starting to actually care about this preservation. So I would ACAM, the American Classic Arcade Museum, those are really hard. Those because the knowledge to keep really old arcade and pinball games is dying out because people don't.
They're getting older.
They're getting older. Either they die or they forget how to do it.
And they don't make original like arcade monitors anymore. For example, for a game that you need replacement Centipede, monitor. It's not like people are producing those anymore. So
it takes a lot of effort to keep
arcade restoration as well and preservation is important. But
so
great question.
I would urge people to go and find these kinds of societies or museums that are actually starting to crop up and support them however you can, and also keep your own digital copies.
Here's my question. Now, if we encase our game rooms with lead, will that prevent bit rot?
It might help. Yeah. Also, don't put your games out in the sunlight. That'd be bad.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thanks.
Hi, guys.
How's it going?
Hey. I just wondered what are your guys' individual favorite obscure NES games?
Obscure NES games.
I know, Pat, you love Mr. Gimmick.
Yes, I do. So that's my answer.
Somewhat obscure. I love North and South.
Not totally obscure, but that's a good one to
It's
pick.
somewhat obscure. It's one of the best two-player games, I think, on the system.
That was your last review that you did.
Thanks.
Which came out all the way back in April.
No, that wasn't. That was April last year, you fool.
Oh, was it? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if it's obscure or not, but a lot of people hear the title and are like, what? Little Mermaid.
Oh, yeah.
Little Mermaid.
There you go.
It's a Capcom game. It's really good. I beat it in like 20 minutes, but I guess it's a guilty pleasure,
Beat it in 20 minutes.
Yes, absolutely.
Security.
I guess Little Samson is actually a pretty good game. So I guess the rarity makes it obscure-ish. Not, I'm making shit up now. Sorry.
Well, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Hi. So a lot of my friends have been like a lot of curious about this, Pat, and I'm sure a lot of people are curious about it. Other people are curious about it too. You and the Angry Video Game Nerd did a review of Nintendo World Championships. At the end of his video, he was holding up the gray cartridge and you were holding up the gold. But I've also heard that both of the cartridges are owned by you. Is that true?
I don't know where these rumors come from. I don't know how to get started. Security. So what's your question?
So basically, are both the cartridges yours? That's a lot of what I've heard.
Who would be stupid enough to spend that much on Nintendo games, though? That's what I don't understand that.
Why are you being so coy?
I don't think it's coy. I think it's obtuse. I'm being. Yeah.
Just answer the question, Claire.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Thanks for putting a target on my back, and also where I live. But yes.
Okay.
All right.
A couple of small questions. Okay. Well, this one's kind of big. So I'm 16, and video game industry is a lot like how it was in the 80s with everybody's bashing on Nintendo because of the Wii and because it's too casual.
Well, who's everyone now?
Like the hardcore gaming market.
That doesn't make any sense to me. I know that term doesn't exist to me, but I don't show that.
Basically, because they don't have enough room for shooters or all those things that hardcore gamers want.
Sure.
And I disagree, but and I mean I'm personally on Nintendo, but I don't really have a problem with PlayStation 360. I'll play either one.
Because you're a real gamer. You don't care. You don't discriminate.
Because I can appreciate a video game.
Thank you.
Yeah. Basically, what my question is, I'm assuming all of you were raised either Sega or Nintendo. Was it? Of course.
We were reared. That's our diapers. Sonic symbols on them, and Nintendo cereal I ate. It was awful.
When you were kids, did you appreciate your rival?
Yes. The biggest one was obviously, Genesis versus Nintendo.
Yeah.
I had a Genesis. I mean, it wasn't my go-to system. Like I had to get the Super Nintendo when it first came out. That's what I asked for Christmas. If I had a paper route and I was like, eventually I'd go to a friend's house and play Sonic and I'd be like, well, that's a good game too.
Yeah.
And then when it would drop in price, I still kind of do the same thing today. I always go and get the Nintendo system first, and after a little bit of time, I'll go and pick up the other ones. Because it is good games. I just don't want to drop all the money at first. That's only my thing, though. I'm cheap.
No, I was Nintendo all the way. I'll admit it. I got caught up in the whole drawing the line. You're a fan of this and fan of that. This is how it was, in our school. But as you get older, you kind of realize that was really pretty stupid. And I've come to realize there's some pretty good stuff on the Genesis. But yeah, back in the day, it was just like, I saw them as a competitor, mostly. Just like, what are you trying to do? Trashing my Nintendo with these ads? What's wrong with you? And that turned me off. But my sister actually got a Sega Genesis, and I was like, traitor! But then I started playing it, I was like, it's all right. Yeah.
I actually had both in my house, but...
Oh, look at me.
Well, yeah, hang on.
Fancy.
Slow down. I grew up with 5 brothers, so... 2 of my brothers, they hogged the Super Nintendo, so I never played it when it was out and popular. So I was a Genesis guy all the way. But I wasn't like, oh, screw Nintendo, because NES is badass. So
of course.
Yeah.
One last question.
Dual questions. Wow, you're killing us.
Sorry, this is the last one.
That's going to cost $5.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Each.
So each. Okay. So. I mean, you guys were talking about sequels and how, like, Zelda 2, Mario 2, everybody always bashes on the sequels.
Just now, back then, everyone loved them.
Oh, of course, yeah. But do you think that there's any room for a proper criticism in those games? I mean, like, I personally...
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't criticize something and saying, oh, it's not a real Mario game. It's not a real Zelda game. That's just
They're made
doesn't
by
make any
the same
sense.
people.
They're great games. I mean, like, they're just innovating.
Yeah,
so sometimes people just want to complain for the sake of complaining.
Yeah.
you don't say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
How's it going, guys?
Hey.
Pretty good.
Oh, thank you.
How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Like your beard?
There's children in the audience, I think.
Oh, sorry. Want some candy?
Yeah, security, where are you? All right, 2 questions. First off, Billy J, in one of your videos, you called Pat the Rain Man of Nintendo.
Yes, we did.
And I'm just curious, how often do you guys actually end up calling him?
Every day.
Just to say hi.
I actually just called Pat not even a week ago, maybe, asking about a game that I just wasn't sure about. So I guess if there's something I don't know, because I'm lazy to like Google stuff.
I just don't know if they're like capturing on film at the time. That's the only thing. So it's like, you know, when the Miracle Piano thing, I was like, when I saw the episode, I was like, oh wow, I do remember that conversation. I didn't know it was gonna be used in an episode.
Yeah, it was funny because, like, you know, we just called him up because I wasn't sure about that Miracle Piano. I just called him up and he didn't even hesitate. He was just like I said, he just Rain Manned it. And I think him and there's one other guy I know who could probably do something like that. I don't think he's here right now.
He's he was.
He was here, Gamester81, and yeah,
That Miracle Piano, how much? That was a pretty good deal, right? What'd you pay for that?
It's all right, 15.
You know, $15, right? That's not bad. It's not as good as $8 box, but you know.
Look at me.
Ooh, hey, we got Flintstones for $5.
Box and some really pristine Nintendo powers. Look at me.
It happens so rarely. I have to smash it in your face as much as I can.
Oh God.
Oh man.
Okay, and that kind of segues into my next question.
Everyone has 2 questions. What's going on here?
It's basically, you know, when you're out game chasing or, you know, buying things off Craigslist or eBay or whatever.
Sorry.
How often do you run into where, like, let's say you wanted to buy, you know, a certain game, like Little Samson, for instance, and you know that it goes for about, like, 150. But then
when do you like let them know, or?
Well, it's more of the fact of like where you find people that are like double or triple charging for a game that's not even worth it. Or
What do you do? You just ignore it and you walk away.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm in a store and I see it, I'll call the clerk out. I really will. No, I'm not. I'm being serious.
you
I'll
can
be
be-
like,
no,
yo,
you
what are
can-
you like? You're overcharging for this, and they're like, oh, well, that's what I can get for it.
People can charge whatever they want, though. So you have to be a
true.
little bit. I don't know. I don't want to
Have
say.
you not seen our show? I mean, we
I know.
don't. Come on.
All right. Okay. But I would just be like, oh, okay. I don't agree with that, or I can't. I usually say something like, yeah, I don't think I can pay that, and just walk.
No,
away.
I know
Or
what you
let
do.
me
You
think
always-
about it. That's what
yeah,
you always say.
say.
Let me think about
Let
it.
me think about it, and then you walk off and never come back.
Yeah, that's right. That's the
So
nicest
any
way to
vendors
go.
here, if he does that to you, you know what's going on.
Sometimes I actually do think about it, though.
Yeah.
I actually do. All right. Thanks for your question.
Thanks.
Hey guys.
Hey.
How's it going?
Sorry for bringing back any painful or sad memories, but is there any game or anything video game related that you can think of that you're just like all hyped up about? You're like, you tell friends, family about. All of a sudden you play it, and it's like the worst thing you ever played, and you're gonna hide your head in the sand because you told everyone about it.
Most disappointing games.
Oh man.
Like for me, it was like the Virtual Boy. I told.
Oh well. I don't think.
I had no friends, so I never had that problem.
I did have a Virtual Boy. Yeah,
Wow.
it wasn't very good.
Well, you were sciencey, so you want to learn about it, take it apart.
Virtual.
I saved up for like literally 6 months to get Three Stooges on the NES with like $2 a week allowance. But I loved the game. But back then it was like I spent $50 for this, and the games were $50 back then. Games are $50 now. They're $50, 25 years ago. When that means they're worth like what is it now? $90. Do it in your head. What's the conversion rate between now and then? It's a lot. Yeah. But no, brought it home and I was like depressed because like back then $50 was like that's so much money to like a kid, and so that one always hurt me.
Even the really crappy games, I somehow tried to squeeze joy out of, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which is not a good game, but I would still play it. And I would be like, "This is fun." The only game I don't know.
could be doing other things now.
I have no friends. No. It's not a direct hyping myself up for it, but my biggest disappointment, and remains the only game I've ever returned to the store, was when Super Nintendo first came out, and I was really excited to play Sim City, which came out for it. I was like, oh, Nintendo Power, this looks great. And I channeled Pat there. And so I go to the store, and they say, oh, we're out of that. But we have, and actually, fair enough to the clerk. He knew what he was talking about. He said, well, we have Populous, which is pretty kind of close. It's a simulation game. I'm like, okay, I'll try that. And so I got it, brought it home, and I was just, I don't know if it was a bad port or if it's just Peter Molyneux sucks, or, well, probably that. But I really hated it. I was so lost, and it was terrible. And I just like, I can't take this. I brought it back. By that time they had SimCity. I got that, and I loved it. So,
all right.
Terrible.
Oh man, one time I traded in Air Fortress, and I did not like that game because it was like being in a rat in a maze. And so, looking back now, it's actually pretty decent. But I traded it in at Funco Land I was like, RoboCop 2, I like RoboCop. I was like, yes. I bring it home, pop it in, like, what? I actually still have nostalgia for that game too. So.
Probably Friday the 13th on NES. We, like I said, there was like 17,000 of us in the house, so we didn't actually like get to buy games. We would rent games, and I remember renting that one, and it was pretty bad, pretty shitty.
Thank you.
Thanks. Oh no.
It's been a long time. So, what is your guys' favorite Japanese anime?
I only have one that I actually like.
I don't really watch much anime, so I'm going to go default on Pokemon. That's the only one I've ever really watched anything of.
I'm going to go default and say Cowboy Bebop because
I was going to say that. Yeah.
Oh, I can put Cowboy Bebop fans. Awesome. But I don't watch a lot of anime.
Yo, that is some really raunchy stuff. Why are you watching that?
And the one anime.
Never mind. I'm not going to give you any ideas then.
And the anime that is huge in Japan and no one knows here, Go-Go 13. Which some people know. And they actually will be making a movie coming out in the U.S., and I will burn down the theater if it's not good. What? I didn't say that.
Starring Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah, right.
And then one more thing. For his sake, will you sign the top loader I got for $18?
$18. That's a good deal.
What?
Wow. With the controller?
Boy, you just caught him slipping again.
Wow. I'll sign it. I'll sign it if you have a Sharpie. You have a Sharpie?
$18 without the controller, it's not worth it.
You use your blood if you
Just
want.
going to warn you.
I use my blood?
We're going to
This kid wants me dead. I don't know. I thought I answered the question last year very nicely. And do you have a Sharpie?
I'll get a...
We'll get a Sharpie. All right, but thanks a lot. We'll get back to you.
Maybe.
Right,
You
maybe.
just Pat sign it, or you want all of us sign it?
I'll give you $19 for it.
Stop horning in on Pat's action here. He's the NES Punk.
This Sharpie's awful.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, well, thanks. All right, next question, please.
Okay, so I got two questions for you guys. All right, so first question. All of you guys are really successful on the internet, and everybody watches your videos and everything like that. So I guess when you guys were first, so I guess my first question is, when you guys were starting out, and when you got sponsored, was it more along the lines of like you guys just got lucky and someone saw your videos and say, hey, I should sponsor them, or was it more the people you knew?
First of all, would you say hugely successful is a huge overstatement?
Well, I mean, especially with you guys, since I just surpassed you in YouTube subscribers.
Shut up, Rue.
Joey seems like a nice guy in video, but he's really a bastard. He really is. It was a lot. No one watched my videos for the first, I think, year and a half.
No one still does.
Thanks. Man, everyone's taking shots at me today. I don't know what it is.
It's so fun.
The funny thing was that when I went to events, people didn't know me, fans didn't know me, but the other video producers did, and so somehow they knew my work and respected it, but it just never got out there. It's just about, I guess, it is about who you know, and it is about just catching a break. It's what it is.
You do need some luck for sure. I went 6 months in real obscurity until less than 100 subscribers on YouTube, etc. Until I did that Earthbound video, the Earthbound review in retrospective. And that got posted on several places like Earthbound Central and Starman.net and other places, and that started the train rolling, really. And it really is a snowball effect. If you catch enough breaks, you'll catch more breaks, and then if you keep working at it, you probably will get to it. Does
and
help
then
if you know
maybe
people.
you'll catch the eye of another up-and-coming YouTube guy, and then who knows what can happen.
Yeah, I owe all of my success to Pat.
Yes.
We got extremely lucky, actually. We had a lot of people kind of help us along the way, Pat being one of them. We first started out, we were uploading to screwtack.com, and Pat saw us.
User submission. We weren't affiliated with the site.
User submission. Pat saw us, and he contacted Billy, and Billy's like, hey, we're going to be on punkeffect.com. And I was like, what the hell is punkeffect.com?
What is it?
He's like, oh, it's Pat the NES Punk. I'm like, okay, I know that name. So I was like, yeah, okay, cool, let's do it. And then through him, we got hooked up with John and Lance with Retroware. Along with them, the All Gen guys, All Gen podcast helped us quite a bit, gave us a lot of airtime, if you will. So Gamester and Metal Jesus is here, so thank you guys.
We honestly just put the first episode together and was like, let's rip off American Pickers. Okay. And so we put it together not really knowing what to expect, and then when people enjoyed it and liked it, it was like, oh, well, better keep doing it, and then
we'll take only sorry.
So
that's good. So we do have a little bit more for you, so we do want to get everyone, so we're just gonna kind of go like speed round.
Or if we don't get your question here, we're going to be at our booth right afterwards.
We'll have.
We have a few more minutes of questions.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do speed answers. I like that.
Thank you.
This next one is pretty quick. So far at this expo, what would you say is either the most awesome item or the best bargain that you guys have found so far?
Well, I got some Nintendo Powers for really cheap.
Hey, correction, had. Oh, you'll find out later.
Quick answer, Jackie Chan Kung Fu NES for me.
I got a PC Duo given to me.
Wow. You ain't bad.
Yes. That annoys me. NES manuals for like 50 cents each in bulk. You can't get that anywhere else. If you go look for on eBay, it'll cost you $3 just to ship like 2 of them. So, I cleaned up today.
Yep. A lot of great vendors here, though.
Yeah, there are.
How many beds are there in Paula's house in Earthbound?
I believe there are 3. Maybe. Yeah, I think there's 3.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
3. He wins something. We don't know what. Joey wins something. Thank you.
You win pride.
He wins
I
pride.
have all the pride.
You have all the pride in the room right now.
I love the Gigas shirt, by the way. Or Gigas. Gigi.
Hello.
Okay, so for all 4 of you, what is the worst game you've ever played?
Totally rad NES. Game is garbage. Sucks.
Dash
What do you
Galaxy
want me
and
to
the
do?
Alien Asylum.
I don't know. I have to think about that. That question always. There's so many.
Dark Castle is really terrible.
That's a bad one.
I did a CDI marathon for charity last year, and compared to Dark Castle was by far the worst game. The Zelda games on CDI were so much better. It's not even close, and that's pretty sad. So
if you consider it a game, which I technically don't, Color Dinosaurs is the worst game on the NES. If you consider it a game.
I like Color Dinosaurs.
I haven't seen it here even for sale. That thing is getting rare, I guess.
Do you have an extra one you want to get rid of?
No, I don't have an extra one.
Someone's selling it in there.
Really? How much?
Was
$40?
it?
70.
$70?
$70? What?
Okay, sorry. We don't get thrown out.
I plead not guilty. Anyways, so I've heard rumors that GameStop is going to be carrying classic games.
I've heard that too. But I talked to someone yesterday. Said no, it wasn't happening. But I have heard that they're like sniffing to get back in the business that they helped destroy, which is great.
I've heard. I don't know if it's true or not that it's just going to be an online store, but like I said,
that's what I've heard. They're kind of. I know a store manager at a GameStop back home, and he's not really. They're looking into it. Yeah. So honestly, it'll probably happen. Just to make our job harder.
I mean, you had the vacuum filled up by the mom and pop shops, which are great, and so I guess GameStop says, "Oh, we want to destroy them too." After we just swallowed up Software Etc., Electronic Boutique, Funkoland, Babbage's, and
But hey, if you want a phone plan, you can go there now.
Oh, great! Yeah, you can buy a phone. You can buy a phone in GameStop. Phone Stop.
Thank you.
So this came up a bit with the answers to the question about most disappointing game with Rue talking about SimCity and Populous.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, in your thoughts, was the best PC to console port you've ever played?
Wow, okay.
I played the crap out of Civilization for the Super Nintendo.
I didn't like that port though.
Really?
I mean, I played it on the PC, so I didn't.
Okay.
You can't go from a mouse. Going from a mouse to a controller is tough.
I thought it was better than. Well, okay, actually. But SimCity is also a very good port because they added a lot to that. They with the Mr. Wright with the green hair and everything. So I probably have to go with SimCity. That was an amazing game.
Wow, that's a tough one. You gotta skip me and come back to me there.
Skip me too, because I haven't done many PC games in my existence.
Oh, I'm gonna get the tomatoes. I don't do PC gaming at all.
Suck.
At all.
That's a strange question because most of the games I've had on PC, why would I play them on a console? That's why it's kind of like I'm trying to think about that.
didn't
console
really
only.
I didn't have a PC worth of crap till I was in high school.
How's Dark Forces on the PlayStation? Is that good? It's not. It's not as good as a PC one. Okay, then I don't have an answer. I was gonna lie and say, yeah, it's a good one.
Hey, I remember you.
Hello.
So I'm just curious, how many of you went opening night, were excited for it, went and saw The Wizard, and what you thought after you were seeing it?
I didn't see it opening night, but yes, you realize watching that movie just how kind of strange it is, and how it's a family drama.
It's disturbing.
It's a strange family drama with Christian Slater showing up for some reason, and then you have video games kind of on the periphery. So
You know what's really funny about that, though? The word Nintendo is only mentioned like twice.
I did not know that.
It's an odd little fact about basically the Nintendo movie.
Ruse fun facts, everyone.
Actually, John D, one of the founders of RetrowareTV, did a really amazing retrospective on the Wizard. That's several years old, but he makes a very good case for it being basically a video game version of Rain Man.
It kind of is.
But it came out like 6 months before Rain Man.
You realize you just said the kid was retarded. That's not nice,
yeah.
dude.
Oh, controversy.
But yeah, I didn't see it opening night, but
the coolest thing about it was you got a little pamphlet book, a little like mini issue Nintendo Power. I don't know who was alive then to have that, and it advertised basically the Nintendo World Championships. So in a way, The Wizard was just a commercial for Nintendo World Championships and Super Mario Brothers 3. That's
yeah, dude. When I saw
don't know if
Super
it's still
Mario
the power
3
glove
on
to
that,
people,
I
but
was
yeah.
like, I cannot wait for this game. I didn't see it opening night either, but the movie's awesome.
I loved it as a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, I never saw it in opening night. I do own it now on a DVD 2-pack with Cloak and Dagger. Cloak and Dagger.
Cloak and Dagger, yes.
I'm sorry, that's a good movie.
Good comic book.
Yeah.
All right,
Thanks.
2 more questions, and then we have other stuff we have to do real quick. It's a long panel.
Hi.
Yes, hello.
How's it going?
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Pat, not so much, but
I will kill you where you stand.
well, you know.
Oh, thanks for Rondo of Blood, by the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just to get that face on Pat right now is.
That's his Joker.
What's your question, sir?
Okay. This is for Jay.
Okay. Oh shit.
You're
Okay.
obviously very, very handsome.
Oh well, thank you, sir.
Whoa,
Appreciate
tap
that.
the brakes.
Whoa, hang on, wait, let the man finish. Let him finish.
Yeah, you know, for a guy, you're good looking.
Oh, thank you.
And handsome.
He also wears women's deodorant.
That is
True
not a
story.
joke.
Look, hang on, wait. Let me explain this. Let me explain this real quick.
Discovered a lot of things this weekend.
So
about
look,
Jay.
hang on, just wait a minute. Let me at least defend myself here. I'm not denying that because I do. But look, I ran into deodorant one time back when I was like, I don't know, 19, and the girl I was dating at the time, she's like, just use some of mine, and I didn't want to like stink and shit, so I put some on and
Stinking crap.
Sorry, stinking crap, stink like crap. So I used her deodorant, and it's just better than men's deodorant. Sorry.
Okay.
So.
Did you smell like Teen Spirit?
No, it was Dove powder. If y'all really want to know.
Was that your question? What?
Yeah, you know, I planned that all out, but you know, I'm a skinny guy, so I'm just kind of wondering, you know, what can I do?
This is getting weird. Hang on a second.
He wants to bulk up.
Oh, like to
Jay's
bulk up
workout
and whatnot?
tips.
How can I
Well, first of all, go to the gym. I mean, that's number one. You got to, you're not going to get muscles playing video games.
Good advice.
It's a lot to do with genetics, honestly, but just a lot of protein, like weight gainer, weight shakes, stuff like that.
Don't what? Okay. What are we doing here? This has to do with video games.
Wait, now I want.
Hey, I like the question.
I'm liking
Thank
you less and less,
Thank
sir.
you.
Wait, now I want to ask for.
I like
Pat
this
for some,
guy.
I want to ask
Don't
Pat
really
for some
care.
dating tips now.
Oh, God.
Thanks again.
Final person for Q&A.
Hello.
This is mostly directed at the game chasers. I was wondering, when you go into a store and you're filming and you tell the staff, what you do and you go hunting video games, how do you think that influences the deals that you get?
That's a good question.
That's a very good question.
Or positively, because they might cut you a deal to get in the video, but then they might also be suspicious of what you're doing.
Honestly, there's no way to know because there's nothing overtly, said or anything like that. It's just sometimes I guess we can kind of pay for the games. It's like, would we have gotten this good of a deal or maybe not this good of a deal if the cameras are on or off? There's really no way of knowing. Yeah. I can't think of any examples where it may have benefited or hurt us.
We need to run a control.
No, not really, honestly.
Sometimes in the flea market vendors, however, I think they see the camera and they're
they
like,
freak out on us.
What's going on here, you know? Because,
actually,
it's hard to
Seattle
explain to them.
last year, you're doing the that console at
Oh, yeah. I was trying to buy
Turbo Duo.
Yes,
Turbo
exactly.
Duo, right.
And as soon as the owner said, yeah, we can shoot and stuff. We started shooting. I started trying to get a good deal on this, and she's like, slowly backing away. I'm freaking out.
As soon as we turned on the camera, she clammed up and was just like, So it didn't happen.
Yeah. So it's a good question. I'm sorry we don't have really a better answer for you, but it's just not that. I don't know. There's no really way to figure that out, I guess.
That's fair.
All right, well, thanks. And that's the Q&A. We have about 10, 15 minutes left, and one of the things we wanted to do, unfortunately, there was a couple of videos that we were going to show today. We're running out of time. There's actually a new Pat video that...
But no one wants to see that.
No one wants to see that, though. Well, that'll probably be on RetrowareTV, I guess, early next week. There was an early version, a rough cut of it I was going to show you guys. It's a Zapper game. On RetrowareTV, one of the things we talked about before was there's things that we can't do ourselves. So right now on RetrowareTV, the past couple of weeks, there's been like a Zapper sort of like profile. Like all the main contributors, for the most part, have done like a Zapper
Light
game.
Gun series.
Or Light Gun series, excuse me, Light Gun series.
I did Yoshi Safari.
Derek did the trilogy, the Point Blank series on PlayStation.
Eric
Let's Get
from Let's Get did every licensed
He's trying to do
Zapper
every
game
licensed Zapper game. And
on the
I'm
NES.
doing one of the unlicensed Zapper games. So look for that early next week. There's also a fun little video from Magfest featuring us that will come up on the site. But now we're going to do for you something fun, a Smash Brothers RetrowareTV free-for-all for you all.
So yes, we're changing the whole site to Let's Plays.
Winner takes the Turbo, the PC Duo that you just got. That's right.
I don't think so.
Dude, I suck so bad at this game.
So we're going to do one round free-for-all, 5 stock. I think we're going to do. No TDM, it's free-for-all. So.
Free-for-all!
All right, on player 1 we got Pat as Mario. Player 2 is me as Ness. Who's player 3? Player 3 is Jay as Link, and player 4 is Kirby with this other guy, Billy.
Someone have a little bit here.
The champion again of the world, the RetroWare world.
It helps when you get 4 tomatoes.
I want the record to show that I lost early on purpose because I had to pee so bad.
Oh, that was great.
Stupid Pat.
That just shows the camaraderie and the fun we have at RetrowareTV. So we're going to finish with a somewhat new feature on the site that we're really excited about. RetrowareTV has reviews, we have news, we have, lots of stuff. The one thing we kind of didn't have before was we didn't have any music on the site. And now we have a retro game rock band.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So anyway, they're called The Humans Are Coming.
Well, it's on Being Human. Their show is called The Humans Are Coming.
Yes. And they are going to start to do covers of some songs. There's been a few out already. Ken's theme from Street Fighter. They've had a nice Super Metroid medley. And now, today, we have a new music video. So thanks for coming out.
Yep.
And we'll see you at our booth this afternoon and also tomorrow. So say hi. We'll talk about retro games and stuff.
I believe, if you want to come by and just talk or whatever, Pat and I will be at the booth. We have one out there. We'll be there till 4, and then Billy and Jay will be there 4 to 5. So come see us out there.
Now, without further ado, The Humans are coming. On Being Humans, the band. And hopefully they'll be and we'll be at MagFest. So hopefully we'll see you at MagFest in January. Thanks for coming out to the panel. Enjoy the rest of the Retro Gaming Expo.
Thanks for coming out, guys.
Yeah.